So this is the Finance Committee meeting, February 3rd, 2026. We have no minutes written at this point. We're just kind of waiting for Elizabeth to get caught up with those. And we have with us tonight myself, Mike Warner, we have Kathleen, we have Jason, we have Mike Flanagan, and Ann. I did receive messages from the rest of the committee that has various issues. Mostly it's just people getting cold and sick and such. So, and Chuck, of course, he will not be here next week either. He's decided to go south and play golf or whatever. He's got a vacation scheduled far away from
weeks ago. IT.
So.
I phoned him, so I'll take this.
Alrighty. So we have Mary Beth with us this evening. We have two groups. We have our town administrator is our first. Then we have a little break in there to catch up on anything else, and then we have the town accountant immediately afterwards. So it's kind of the money night tonight.
Accountant or treasurer?
Treasurer collector, I believe.
Treasurer accountant, I see.
Accountant. I think she was in last week, the accountant.
Yes, treasurer accountant, yes. Sorry, thank you. Alrighty. Well, you know what goes on here, Mary Beth, so.
Okay. So I printed out a budget for everybody, so you have a printed copy, and then I'll send you, and this changed even up to 20 minutes before we came up, so.
Yes.
As it is. Of course it does. Right, always. So basically, I just planned on going through the select board budget, and then we'll drop down to the town-wide expenses. Most of those fall under me. As far as the debt, the treasurer collector will bring the backup for the debt, like I used to do as the treasurer, so she'll have all that. And then I do want to talk about the Whitman Middle School and just some preliminary information that I got in just this week. Okay, so as far as the select board, you'll see that this is, I think, a pretty lean budget, just 2.5 for Kathy and myself. And Lori is showing the administrative assistant 2.9, and that's probably because of a step or something there. And then I just level funded most other lines. The longevity increased a little bit by $250, and that's just because of the employees and where they are. Somebody's reaching a longevity payment there over last year. Let's see, what's the next one here? It's the assistant department head stipend, and that's per the CBA. So they've rolled in their stipends to their salary, and it's just the treasurer collector that gets a $250 stipend this year, and same as last year. And then on the expense line, I just added 3%. Again, really tight line. And then the pilot for Rockland, I actually lowered that a little bit to $7,000. We're in negotiations with the town of Rockland to purchase the land, and if we certainly, well, it depends on when we purchase the land. So I do have a pilot in for this year. For them to purchase the land, I'm sorry, yes. Yeah. So I do have a payment in, and Sean Kane wanted me to add just a draft for 28. So you'll see on that budget, I did set up a draft for 28. Again, these are very general assumptions, just staying at whatever the COLAs are for the different unions. We settled 5 contracts this year. So the overall for the select board budget is 2.40. And I just want to go back to this to the town administrator and the assistant town administrator. I don't think people realize, our office touches every single office. And negotiating 5 contracts, any grievances, anything that happens. Just some of the things that the assistant, well, first of all, as far as the select board, town administrator, I don't know if people realize it, and I've asked other town administrators, how many committees are you on? How many boards? They're like, I don't have time for that. I have too much to do. But my role, I'm the human resource director, town administrator, human resource director. I'm on the capital committee member, DPW building committee member, Whitman Middle School Building Committee member, Mayflower Municipal Health Group Steering Committee member, the Bylaw Study Committee member, the Whitman-Hanson Regional Review Committee member, the Brockton Area Transit General Board member, Brockton Area Transit Finance Committee member, Affirmative Action Representative, Assistant Parking Clerk, Auction Permit Agent, Fair Housing Committee, Fair Housing Officer, Claim Agent, and then they said, we have to make you the interim library director between David Aronson leaving and the new one coming on. I'm like, no. They said, you have to. I'm like, okay. And luckily it was just for a very short time. So that takes a lot of my time as well. But as far as the assistant town administrator, I think that one thing that we want to note is we're actually pretty lean in the upper management compared to other towns. We don't have a town planner, and the towns around us that have town planners that are part of the OCPC region, Old Colony Planning Council, Abington has a planner, Avon has a planner, Bridgewater, Duxbury, Easton, Hanover, Hanson, Kingston, Plymouth, Stoughton, and West Bridgewater. That's in addition to the assistant town administrator position. And then East Bridgewater, Halifax, Pembroke, and Plimpton, they don't have formal planning positions, but the planning board handles those types of things there. So Kathy, some of her main things, and when I started here, we had Frank Lynham. Thank God Frank came back twice to help us out. And when I came in, I said, how are you doing everything without an assistant? He said, I'm just keeping it afloat, Mary Beth. I'm not doing any grants. I'm not doing any fleet schedules. I'm just, we're just trying to survive here. So when Kathy came in, I wanted to make sure that Kathy took over grants. Now, certainly IT does some of their own grants, and Cultural Council. There are other departments that do fire department and so forth. But Kathy has brought in over $348,000 in grants or grant value. And when I say grant value, that's because they'll come out and do a project through the Old Colony Planning Council for free. So it's the equivalent of what that would have cost us to have the work done. That doesn't include the big brownfields work that they've done at the Regal Shoe, so we can get that back on the rolls. So she's done a great job with that. And also the fleet record, all the town vehicles. Mm-hmm. Well, when I came in, that hadn't been updated. So now it's balanced every single year. What vehicles are on the road, off the road, no longer have. So that's all up to date. And then we did take over too, assisting with the onboarding of new employees, because the Treasurer Collector's Office was overwhelmed with the whole process. So Kathy does all the query forms, the drug and alcohol paperwork, all the non-benefit paperwork, the federal, state forms, I-9, Plymouth County, Boyer, all the policy paperwork, the ethics, all the banking information. So that has really helped out with the Treasurer Collector's Office and really took a lot off their plate. And what else do I have here? I think that's it for the select board's budget. Do you have any questions on any of those lines?
I do just one.
Okay.
What employees, not by name, are covered by the longevity line item?
By the longevity line item. Okay, so that is in the town hall, union, and they've changed some of the longevity qualifications, but I do have a breakdown with a list of, and once they reach a certain amount of time, they get, they go up a tier on the
These
longevity.
are department heads?
These are employees, and I believe that Don Varley, the town clerk, may be in there as well. So I will get that. I have a list. I have a breakdown.
Okay.
And I get that every year from the town accountant's office, based on their years of service. So it changes from year to year.
Okay, thanks.
Or it may change, I should say. Any other questions on that? Okay. And then I will jump down next to the townwide expenses. The last section here on the budget. And for the annual audit, I reached out and asked them, what I should expect for an increase, and they had said 3%. For legal services, I did add 5% there. The town reports, I level funded, and it was very close last year. I said order less. We usually do have some left over. I feel like we're going backwards, but I'm trying to really be careful with every dollar. The mailing and duplicating, I did add 3% there. And you'll see the vacation pay for terminating employees. You might notice that it is a large increase. We do have one employee. It appears, according to the agreement, that this person is entitled to unused vacation time. He had a lot of comp time on the books. He used up his comp time but couldn't use his vacation time. So, I've had accounting look at it. So we're reviewing that just to make sure that that number is accurate. This person may be retiring somewhere in the first quarter, I would think, of fiscal 27. So we have to budget for that. Plymouth County Retirement, that is what it is. That's where we infused $200,000 from free cash to help pay that number. So you'll see when I send you the budget on the revenue tab from free cash, we have the $200,000 there. And unemployment compensation, this is something tonight that I reduced. Last year we budgeted $98,944 because we had planned to lay off even more employees than we actually did. And I think we have paid out, let's see, I have that number on what we have left in the line, but I felt that at this point I'm going to reduce it, and then depending on where the budget goes and what we have to do to close the gap, I'm going to have to increase that probably based on, but I really do take the employees and then calculate the unemployment costs from there. The medical life insurance, I'm hoping that I can get some relief on that. So the retirees, we actually have more retirees, I would say, than actives, and they went up 11%. That's one of the committees I'm on, the Mayflower Municipal Health Group Steering Committee. I do have a meeting next week. I believe we are setting the rates for the actives next week. Most of the other joint purchase groups and Meyer and the state went up 19%. We went up last year under 7%, and that's because we put $4 or $5 million at risk because, believe it or not, the Mayflower Municipal Health Group is the #1 purchase group and very good with the reserves, with the investments. Tom O'Brien does an unbelievable job. So we did put, if we had not put the money from the reserves at risk, we would have been looking at the same increases that everybody else did. But again, I know that we will use some money. I'm hoping that I still have to account for 11% increase for the retirees. You have to understand too that the retirees are on a January through December cycle and the actives are on a July through June. But I'm hoping that I can bring that down a few percentage points there. And then the Medicare tax town match, it's 3%. That's usually what we calculate each year. And then the general liability, I have right now at a 2% increase there. So, the big driver here, I'm sure, is that vacation pay for terminating employees. Any question on that?
Do you have a cap on comp time or unused vacation?
So we don't have comp time as far as any department heads or any town hall employees or anything like that. I'd have to look at the fire contract, but yes, if they have it, there is a cap on it. And that is gone after this employee, this big payout. That was for a department head. He is the last one. In years past, we have had other employees, department heads who have left with, a big payout. Yeah. So Frank put an end to that pretty much on how much could be carried over without an exception. But this is one of the last ones. He's been here, for 35 plus years. So he had an older older contract. So,
Line item 35,
on
liability insurance.
330,
On 35, yeah, general liability insurance. Right on.
oh yes, general liability, yep.
What's the deductible?
On which, because this covers, you mean on
The liability
buildings?
insurance, yeah.
Right, so that covers our cyber
Yeah.
liability, that
Okay.
covers the buildings, for a loss, the vehicles, whatever. I'd have to
Okay.
take a look at
I'd
the
just be curious
individual.
about the deductibles
Yeah.
for them,
Yeah,
And did with the new contracts in place, did the medical insurance contribution from new employees change?
nothing changed.
Oh,
So what we were trying to do was change. So we're right now at a 65-35 split across the board. So what we wanted to do was new employees do a 60-40. But no,
that didn't fly.
no,
Okay.
that didn't fly. So nothing was done. I will say though that I did get an email in today, and I did attend a meeting online last week. The Mayflower Municipal Health Group is coming out with a high deductible plan, which for young people who are healthy, it's a higher deductible with an HSA and a health savings account linked to it. And so I'm looking forward to adding that to our menu, and maybe some employees, these new employees that we're hiring, might go into that one, which will save them money, but also save the town money on our share. So to me, it's just a menu choice. But of course, that is something that I got in today. I have to send off to council, because that will have to go. Not that the unions have a choice of what we offer, but we will have to give notice or whatnot, or follow the proper procedures with the union. So I'm sending that information to town council. But I think it's something good to add.
How big of a menu of insurance is it? Do you have about 10 options? 3?
Well, we have Harvard Pilgrim and for actives and Blue Cross, and then within that we have like the low one, which is equal to the state, but is a lot of out of pockets, and then we have the Rate Saver, which is really popular, and then we had a couple legacy plans that we said, okay, no one new can go in those, but we do have a good range, I'd say 3, 4, 5 that people can choose from.
Do you have any like incentive for not taking the health insurance? Like
So
a
that's
quarterly
another
bonus or
thing, right? No, and we talked about that as well. To put that in, of course, everything like that has to be bargained as well and put in. But we did talk about that at each of the negotiations, and it was that if one group didn't want to do said absolutely no, then it wasn't going to happen. So all unions had to go in it. But I wanted to give an incentive to not go in it. So if it's cheaper, if you can look at your significant other's plan, your spouse's plan, and we give a payout. But there'd be very strict rules that you couldn't come back into it for 2 years or whatever. Just so people couldn't play that game to swap back and forth and get the incentive. You have to, stay in it.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work to get that.
It is.
Switching plans isn't always fun. But we're looking at everything, so I'm hoping that the medical will come down a little bit for the percentage increase, and then adding the new plan will hopefully save us money as well. Oh, and there is one thing that I might mention here that I was talking about. I really don't want to do it. It's not a great idea to do it.
Okay.
It is relevant though, yeah.
It's relevant. One thing we can do is we have 2 unfunded liabilities. So our big liabilities are Plymouth County. That's $3.8 million right now this year, and will continue to increase for the next 5 years. And then we have our OPEB, other post-employment benefits. That's everything other than pension liability. We have put money into our OPEB trust every year. First year I think I was able to put $1,000, and I fought for 10 every year, and I got 5. And so now we're just doing the meals tax, which my plan when we did that was to go up every year in our contribution as meal tax has gone up. But people like me, about it's 140 consistently. You're doing good. That's all you're gonna get. So we can borrow against our money that we have in the trust to pay for retirees' portion of health insurance. The district can do that as well. It's not a good idea. It's like taking money out of your IRA before you were, 60,
Okay.
right? It's not a good idea. I would still continue to put money in every year. We are taking over the borrowing, and so they're looking at your reserves. They're looking at what your plan is. Are you contributing on a consistent basis? It is something you could do for a year or two. Not a great idea, but the schools can do. It's something that we can all do, but not the best of ideas.
Kind of like if there was short-term relief between now and when the Plymouth County liability is paid off, something to get us through.
Yeah,
For
the
a
next
couple
3 years, yeah.
I'd have to check if we could do it 5 years in a row, though. I think last time I spoke to somebody, I thought maybe you could do it for a couple of years, but at least we could say because we know there's relief, in 32 or whatever. And then quickly, I ran these off for you.
Keeps getting bigger and bigger.
I know, so sorry.
Okay.
But I thought you liked numbers here.
Yes, we do.
Okay, so
Like
just
a minute, so.
quickly, this is the, do you have one, Kathy?
Thank you.
Looking at the Whitman Middle School debt, I'm working to get all the documents to bond council, to get everything to our financial advisor. So this is very preliminary. However, what we're looking at here, this top sheet is showing that an $8 million ban was taken out in 2024 by the district. And in 2025, they took out $30 million. They paid off $8 million, and they had $22 million as go forward to keep the project going. So now we're in March of 26. What we're going to do is we're going to take out $28 million, and this is according to the cash flow. $28 million for bans for new money, and we're going to take the $30 million that we owe, and we're going to bond that $30 million. So we're going to take out $58 million. And then in 27, based on the cash flow, we're going to have $18 million in bans. We're going to roll over 8 and take out 10 in new money. And we're going to bond 20 million out of the 28 from up above. So out of that 28 that we're taking this year in new money, we're going to bond 20 of it next year and roll 8 of it. And then take out 10 in new money. And then in 28, we're anticipating just rolling the ban for another year, refunding it for 18 million until everything settles with MSBA, and then we'll bond what's left. We just don't want to bond more than we need for the project.
Yeah.
So that's what that is showing. The next page is showing the debt schedule based on those anticipated borrowings for 26, 7, and 29, because I said in 28, we're just renewing the ban. So those are the debt payments that we'll need to make. It's 110 million, 418, 448. And this is going with equal principal, which as a treasurer I've always believed it's more money up front, but it saves about over 9 million by going with equal principal as opposed to equal debt. Even though people like equal debt because they have a lower payment up front, you pay more in interest. So Kathy, because she had the knowledge of the assessors in doing these calculations, I had Kathy put this debt schedule, the equal principal payment, into the system to show what the impact is for the average home owner. And Kathy, this was based on a average home of,
516,263.
thank you, 516,263. Oh, right there. So if your home is valued less than that, then the payments, would be estimated to be less. And if it's more, of course, if you have a home that's valued at 800,000, it's going to be a lot more than this. So this shows you that what's going to go on to the tax bill for a home valued at 516,263. Now, of course, these numbers are just preliminary. We don't know this for sure till we go out to the market and see exactly on the date of the sale what we get for interest rates. But I will say that the interest rate for the ban last year and from Whitman Middle, I think it was 5.5% or
It was even more.
5.75. It was huge.
5.875.
5.87, and a ban is always, well, I shouldn't say always, typically lower than a bond, short-term money. So, oh, here it is right here, 5.875 in 2024. And then the 2025 ban was 4.875. And now we're looking at, for a ban, we're hoping to get this year 3%. But the district would be looking at 4.8 to 5.8, which translates to more money to the taxpayers.
Yeah.
So,
So, all right, so 27, it's going up $600, or it's, what would it be this year?
so which schedule is it? The big schedule?
Yeah.
Okay. And so for 20,
So say 2026.
Oh,
What are we paying for?
so 2027 was based on,
597.19.
So what are we paying this year?
yeah, but this year was
previous
just the interest
Right,
that we were paying
right.
it
Yeah,
on.
I think I don't know whether
We've done it.
yeah.
So is it,
Like
so
a
what I'm
million
asking
something.
is it from 26 to 27, is it going up $597? Or are we paying 500 right now? You know what I mean?
Yeah, you
Oh,
weren't
yeah,
paying
you wanna know the
500
difference
right now.
between 26 and
Right, that's what I was
27,
curious
yeah.
about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was for 1,230,350. And so when we look at the 27 debt schedule, that was for a million, it says here, 1,239,38, but that's not what our bill was for. If you look on last year's budget, it was 1,230,350, and the 27 is based on 3.18. So it's a lot less than the 597. And we can get you that number. We've already done that calculation for 26. But then there's a jump there, you'll see from 597 up to the 838.
I see that.
And it looks like it peaks about,
Next couple
yeah,
years, 5
well,
years out.
yeah, 880, 909, 928, and then it will start to go down from there.
And then with the South Shore
Right.
Tech coming up, I mean, we're gonna have a lot of stuff from residents, there's no doubt about that.
Well, that's why we have to really, our joint
We're talking-
meeting,
It's probably gonna be $1,500 increase in the next 2 years.
it's a lot. Between the DPW, the Whitman Middle School, we have the debt exclusion we have to put on the ballot this year. That you'll
For the
notice when-
VOTEC.
For the VOTEC, the debt exclusion, we have to put that on the ballot. So I want to, and I'm mentioning that at the meetings because I don't want people, if we come out with an override, you have to realize that social VOTEC is still looming there as well. And if we don't pass it, we just have to fit it in our budget. We have to pay it no matter what it passed.
Which is what Marshfield did. Marshfield voted not to pay it, and then they had to take it out of their operating budget. After just joining the VOTEC, and they also forgot that they had to come up with $750,000 in tuition. So we don't want to do that.
We don't want to do that, and they're not the only town that didn't pass it at first. And I understand it's a lot. These are all things that we need to do, but I do understand it's a lot. But that's why the joint meeting on the 17th, there are some issues that we really need to discuss between the two boards. The override, if we have an override. Are we doing, the two scenarios or just one scenario? Yeah, so there's a lot to discuss. And I did have a meeting this morning with John Marcus and the new business director, Matt Wells.
Matt Wells.
Yep, and Ryan Tressel and Carl. So,
Oh, good.
yep, so we just had a quick meeting, and so I'm sure, I don't know if all of you will be there, some of you tomorrow night.
I think I will.
Yeah, at the budget meeting for the school committee. So, any questions?
No, I just want to say, having sat in on the phone call that Mary Beth had with bond counsel and other money people whose titles I don't know, we would be in so much trouble. with that middle school, if Mary Beth had not anticipated and been proactive about saying to the building committee, how about the town taking over this debt? Because it wouldn't have happened. They would have dragged their feet. They would have said, we're going to get our audit finalized in February. Well, we know that's not going to happen. So I just want to thank you, Mary Beth, for what you've done to really salvage this project, because we all know we have to pay for it.
Right.
And if we stopped building it, we'd have contractors suing us.
Right.
And a big white elephant standing in the middle of the field waiting for people to come to their senses. So thank you. I mean, I appreciate what you do anyway, but I've seen you in action on those phone calls. It's like, oh my goodness, we're so lucky that we have her. So
Thank you. That's very nice of you.
people don't see what goes on behind the scenes.
Anything else? Anything else? So I'll send you the budget as is tonight, just so to, match what I have here. And then we'll go from there. So once we have a number, from the schools and we look at the bottom line, I know last year we talked about a formula, to share the 2.5, the growth.
The new revenue.
The new growth and the increase, and then we have to look at one thing I do want to mention is our revenues this year are anticipated to be much lower than last year. So last year, we pushed everything too far. We pushed the envelope too far. And I would say to people, yeah, I want as much as you can give me. Give me your best estimate, but you better make it. Because if you don't make it, we're voting on a budget that's not real. And then we have to go back and do cuts. So I've already asked, can you increase the estimate on the excise? Because we got our first commitment in. Well, it was only a difference of $50,000. They're like, nope, not yet. And I said, well, what about trash? We went up on the fee. Can you, go up on the projections? He said, nope, not yet. They're not showing the collections that we feel comfortable raising them. Yeah. So I've talked to Jen and to John, and they said, we'll revisit it in February, and then we'll revisit it in March. And so they'll make adjustments where they're comfortable. The problem is that when you push things too far and something doesn't make the mark, so last year ambulance revenue came in like 466 short, but we had investment income that made up for that. So at the end of the year, John and Jen can, look at the overall picture, and it was so close making it work. It's like you can't be pushing these estimates to get the budget that you want, because there's not the turnbacks that they used to be. Look at our free cash. Yeah. Budgets are tighter, they're leaner. So there's not all this extra money or any money in there that makes up your free cash. So we have to be real careful. I just don't want to put forth a budget that's not realistic. So I've said, it's up to you. John said, no, you guys are pushing it way too far. And
better to be conservative.
Right.
Yeah.
So we are. So that's where we are right now.
Yeah, I mean, on a similar note, we had a couple of folks, departments have come in and, they're keeping these, the 2.5% as much as they can within union contracts and everything else, and zero change for the rest of their department budgets. But some of them, it's been a zero budget for 4 or 5 years.
Yep.
And, it really came out. A couple of them literally, I think we asked the question, so can you pay their utilities? Mm-hmm. Has it not changed in 5 years? Mm-hmm. They go, yeah. So we have to steal from this budget to move it there. It's the zero, setting that zero expectation, but then not being able to deal with it. I think that's a problem, right? When we go back to the town, they don't see that it costs more money. Oh, you had a 2.5% for salaries. Yeah, but what about everything else?
Right.
Cars don't cost the same. Gas doesn't cost the same. Nothing costs the same. So I think that would be an important piece, and or contrast that with the actual spend of those lines.
So I look at that. I print out what they actually spent in, as of June 30th. I have that down in my binder. And then I look at where they are. If it's a line that they're really, adamant about, you'll see there's increases in there and above level funding, because they gave good reasons
Yep.
And so then I look at their budget, where they are today. One small example, on a very small scale, is the building department. You'll see that they went up for the assistant wiring inspector.
Yeah.
And I think I went up to 1,200 on that line from 500 or 400. But I looked at what they spent last year, and they spent a little over 1,200. So I mean, putting in that 500 and then they're taking it from another, it just wasn't realistic.
Yeah,
It wasn't.
yeah, it doesn't show, and honestly, it makes our job a little harder. Because we
sure.
don't see the actual spends. We just see the budgeted amount for the last 2 years in the spreadsheets.
You don't get the reports from accounting? They used to
No.
always get them, the
We asked
finance
for them,
committee.
we did not, last 3 years, I don't think I've ever seen one.
What's that?
Actual spend
The month to dates.
for the lines.
We can get you
Well,
those.
well, they show up on this spreadsheet if you unhide columns.
Oh, okay,
So you can go back,
maybe that's.
expended or, actual expenses all the way back to maybe
Well, not
2000.
here though, because I deleted a lot of the back years here and deleted some lines that have just been zero for years.
Yeah, okay.
So on this particular version, but we can have accounting send you a month end, month to date report.
That would be super
They
helpful.
used to always get it, finance
No,
committee.
we actually, this season, we asked for it, to see the actual expenditures, because we know that it's just not practical for some of them. And we hear it from the department heads. And I'll use the word complaint, but they're not really complaining, they're just stating facts.
Right, absolutely.
We can't live within these budgets, but this is what we've been told to do, so here's the
Right.
zero, but it's not realistic. Great, show us what you actually spend. Then we can have a different conversation, and I think it would also bolster going back to the town and saying, all right, what services do you want? This is the realistic spend,
Right,
right? We can say we're gonna spend nothing more, but we are, right? It's just, you're not, maybe you don't have an ambulance crew, because he has to take the shifts from what should be a second ambulance crew and use that to fix an engine, because we don't have it there, right? They're doing the best they can, and as I know you and the select board are, but I feel like we're almost like we're hiding the truth a little bit. Not meaning to do it or
No,
bad, we're just
no.
saying, here it is, and I think flat out saying, this is the cost of these things.
but
We're
I
kind of
mean,
talking, sorry,
oh no, go ahead.
we're kind of talking two different things. I think it's good to hear this from you, because if you want, like from our perspective, when we start the budget process, we just start with those assumptions just so we can start somewhere,
Of course.
just to get a calculation so we have some center of gravity. But then you're having your meetings, and I'm listening to meetings and whatnot, and department heads are saying, but X, Y, and Z, this is unrealistic. So then we're all taking in that information, and then based on your feedback, and obviously the feedback Mary Beth gets in her direct meetings, then we can say, recreation really does have these costs that are going a little bit higher, so that seems realistic, or we have to take from somewhere else, so then we fine tune in this next phase of the budget process. And I think,
Yeah.
I've been listening to your meetings, and it's clear, you need the full Article 2 sooner, so you can go through all the lines and give us feedback, and
Yeah.
we're definitely on a mission to do that this year.
It's a question, Sean, of whether you go at this, right now we're going with what was voted for last year, and that's your base for this year? Or what was your actual spend for last year? And if there's a difference, maybe we need to change that and say, well, what we voted for was incorrect. Now, it could be all next year with snow and ice. Hopefully, we won't have another year like we're having. I can't say had, because God knows what'll come down the next month anyways. But we haven't had a really bad winter in a long time,
15.
right?
Yeah.
But this one is going to make up for a couple of them. So you can't predict that. But like I said, some of these things, they can come in and they can give us a little bit better piece, especially if we're always spending another $6,000 on this line item. This department every single year is another $6,000. Holding them to 4 years ago, that number, you're $24,000 behind what we know they're going to spend, right?
Kind of. You lost me a little bit. Like, we can't deficit spend, so they have to meet their budget every year. So each department had to meet their budget every last year, or they would have come to you for, at the end of the year for a transfer. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
each budget that you're reviewing, they did have to, at least to my knowledge, all of them did make their budget last year.
But we don't see that. And that's what, all we're seeing right now are what was voted in 25 or 26. We saw expended in 25, we see voted in 26. And that's maybe the question mark, is where are we? Because I know we're not done with 26, but how close are we?
I
Right.
see what you're saying.
Yeah.
So in 26, how close are they to staying on track?
Are we tracking to the number, amortize it over 12 months, right? For most of the departments, that's probably a fair way to do it.
Yeah.
And just say, are we spending what we thought we'd spend monthly? Knowing that the biggest chunk of this is going to be salaries anyways,
Right.
right?
But I did meet with, have not met with the town clerk, but other than that, met with all departments.
Yep.
And so they would tell me the same thing probably they're telling you. Hey,
Okay.
the solid waste contract, there's nothing I can do about it, and and so we have to adjust the number. Or Maribeth, no, I really need to do this year, and the reason why, and so we work with them as best we can. However, if everybody got what they wanted, this deficit would be, 5 million.
Right, it's not, none of this is, we're promising that you're gonna get everything that you need.
Right.
What it means is we have to live within the budget that we have,
Absolutely.
and having that information lets us advise the board and you where we think that this is the best place that we can go, and when necessary, where we can't make it or we don't agree, that goes back to the town to vote on and say, would you rather have this, or do you want both? In which case, here's the cost.
Right.
But in the end, it's like what we do at home.
Right.
Do you go out to Papagino's? Do you go to a big steakhouse tonight, or you stay home and have ramen noodles tonight? Right. Don't know. Depends on what's in the bank.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
We could certainly get you the report, and
Yeah.
FinCom used to always get that, so you probably would, really benefit from, there goes my battery. The one thing I did want to mention is, quickly, I know, is Deborah waiting? She must be here. The recreation put $10,000 in her request back to the expense line. And she said it was mainly because the pool was so old and for repairs on the pool. I had it in the budget, and then I took it out of the budget because we don't really want to start adding what we took out last year. So I thought that I could do, maybe, if it will fly, an article for $10,000 for pool repair. Not that it is a every year expense, because they don't have, the chemicals and whatever she does on a routine should be part of the revolving fund.
Those are in there.
But the major repairs, if I did an article for the $10,000. So while I took it out, you'll see on the budget, I really didn't take that out of my mind. I want to find a way to, because really, the recreation, even on what she had to do to scale back, still did a wonderful job. So many people rely on that for daycare, for the summer, for the programs. Yeah, so it's important.
Yeah, and that's a hard one too.
Did she specify a repair, or was it the opening and closing?
There were repairs that had to be done. The
There's
opening and
also the
closing.
handicap. Also the handicap.
There's a handicapped
That needs to be
lift
replaced.
that had to be
That's right, she
replaced.
did mention that.
Yeah.
And she said the age of the pool, she said it is just,
She
so
said
old that
the last
she's,
couple of years, 60 years old.
right.
Stuck in my head last year.
Yeah, like whatever, resurfacing it, or whatever they call it. But
Yeah.
she has income in that department, which again we don't really see here,
Right.
right? But she puts in, or at least my understanding was, she not only pays the people that run the pool, the lifeguards, etc., but that's how she does the opening and the closing. She puts that. A lot of the chemicals get built into that,
Into the revolving.
which is great, right?
But she's close.
She's very close. I think she was 1,000 under. She needed $1,000 to kind of make her number, which, so it's
I don't know
basically.
how she closed it. Did she do a reserve fund transfer?
No, it's again, it was a line item sort of thing. Right?
Oh, okay.
It's just, she
She only
has,
had the one line.
yeah, but it's in there, but that's the thing, is it kind of, it's very close. She's
She is.
right on the edge,
And
right?
she does such a great
She does.
great job for the town, so.
But if that pool fails, that's a big ticket item.
Right.
It also brings me to another question. Do you do a yearly report of departments that generate revenue and how much they generated per year?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know if the accountant has, the
Knowing those
revenue.
kind of things, I think kind of sways us on
Right,
if
right.
the department's bringing in revenue, do we really want to cut from there? Or can we cut from somewhere else, you know what I
Right,
mean? So if we
right.
cut there, we're gonna lose revenue, so kind of,
Right, and I know you'll hear the fire chief say, if I don't run the second ambulance or whatever,
but it's the same thing with rec and they generate revenue.
There's
A few departments that we
Clerk
didn't
department
realize.
takes in for,
Health department,
licenses,
right.
things like that, health department. Yeah, it would be nice to know, where are cost centers versus revenue centers.
yeah, the
and
accountant
what
should be
that
able to
is,
run
Right?
Yeah.
the, I mean, they book all the revenue.
Just like the spend, they can do the.
That's what I'm saying.
They should.
They book it
Cover
all.
receipts.
They book
You
it
should
all.
have access to all that, any of that you want. Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
Let me just make a note. The month-to-date report and the revenue. Now, there is a revenue report that they do run monthly that would show how much in real estate came in, how much in personal property, so it's on every single revenue line. But it's not an easy report to decipher.
And I'll be honest, there's only so many numbers I can handle.
Right.
So I don't every month need to get a report on
No.
revenue.
yearly would be fine.
Yeah.
I think, in the future,
For a couple of examples.
November, when we start this whole process, it would be nice to have, where are we right now and maybe halfway through?
Yeah.
So January might be
Progress.
another one. So we have like 2 little touch points, all right? Where are we?
November and January?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, you're doing the same thing. You're sending us your budget numbers,
Right.
about every,
Right.
well, it increases as we get closer, but.
Too often, I'm sure. What version is this?
Yeah, it's all right. But it's, we know that that's the way it is. But they change so fast.
They do.
And it would be nice to just kind of have that as a backup so we know where are we.
I mean, that's why, and I even said this today, level service budget as opposed to level funded. We're asking people to hold when nothing in our personal lives is stayed the same. So then what do? Like town reports, order less. Well, you can only do that so much too. And as far as like IT and, the different contracts he has, Josh has been great about having the vendors hold their prices. Again, they'll only do that for so long. Their costs are going up as well. So, I mean, we can't just level fund. I know that's not realistic on everything, as utilities and work with Todd and so forth. But where we can, just because of the situation we're in, we've been doing that. Is Deborah out there? I don't, was she 7 o'clock?
15.
7:30.
7:30.
Oh, maybe, okay, I thought it was 7.
No, so
No.
what we did this year is we start at 6:30. We have 15 minutes for us to kind of do our house cleaning stuff. So technically, we let you start right away because you're here, and we do most of the time. But we normally schedule folks for 6:45 until 7:15, so half an hour. Then we take from 7:15 to 7:30 again for us to kind of, what did we just hear? Any questions or anything else? And then the last one is 7:30 to 8.
Well, I've taken way more time
No.
than I should. I
That's
apologize.
Well, we do limit a few of them to 15 minutes because sometimes it's very simple, right?
Yeah.
It's one line item. But yours is super important because you have such a bigger view of everything. And I echo what Kathleen said. You do an amazing job, both of you.
Oh, thank you.
And the select board's not slouching either. So I throw the praise over
Oh,
there
yeah.
too. This is not
Are
an
you
easy
kidding?
thing to do. So,
Yep.
Great.
Well, very good. I think the 17th will be important,
Yes.
and maybe we
Yeah.
can make some decisions. And I want to get it to you as soon as I can, Article 2, for voting. However, it's the school and the final and the numbers and the override. And
yeah, we saved the school, I think they're at the beginning of March is when we're meeting them. Just because in the past, February 24th, we're actually meeting with Whitman Hanson. There was no point in meeting earlier.
well, that's
they
it.
weren't ready.
No, right.
So-
They don't have the numbers.
We used to, and it was like, why did we just have this meeting?
Yeah,
Right.
so,
It took us a little while to catch up.
Well,
If you
very
do have
good.
some time to review the formula that we were discussing, that would be helpful, so we can have a thorough discussion at our next meeting, joint meeting, and make some decisions about it.
Yeah, I sent that out to everybody, and Kathleen actually gave us the minute and second that it starts.
Times.
Not that we find you boring, but it's like,
No,
I
no,
gotta
no,
get
we
to
all
this one
have-
section, right?
So the school committee actually coming out with their budget tomorrow?
Yes,
It is.
it's required public hearing. So tomorrow night, Dr. Marcus should be presenting the fiscal 28, yeah, the preliminary. It'll be worked on, but
Right.
And probably a couple of different scenarios, I would assume, yeah. He sent me some good information just late last night. And he said that forthcoming would be a line-by-line budget. And I said, we've been asking for that for years. Whatever they ask me for, I'll send it. I just send it to them, even though it's ever-changing. So I said it's nice that we're going to get the same thing. We've been asking for that. So
Did they make any progress on their audit? I know it's only February.
I actually talked to the lead auditor at the Connect 351 a week ago, and she said, "Mary Beth, where are we? You know, what's happening with the borrowing?" Because she was panicked about the audit is not going to be done by January 31st. I said, "No, I knew it was never going to be done by that time." So, but I found it funny. She said that she had offered to, when the breach happened, to go in and restore all their data. And she said if I had done that, they would have been behind on all the audits.
well,
Wow.
I didn't know that.
no.
She has the ability to do that?
Yeah, she said that's what
Just
we
through
do.
a server?
That's what we do.
Generally, yeah.
Yeah.
It's that and ransomware and all that stuff. It's a fallback system
Well,
built in
Can you
place.
imagine?
Too
That-
late.
I know, but that would have been
What-
worth the spend.
What a disaster it would have spared us.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. So she said she'll get us what we need. We have a 24 audit. We're working in the middle of our 25, but she'll get us draft financials. So, and we have a Moody's call next week. So hopefully our rating will stay as is.
Yes.
Good.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Alrighty, thank you.
I'm going to stay for
Okay.
Deb in case she has any questions.
Okay, very good.
Good night,
You can go
Sean.
home, but I'm going to need these.
Yes, you are. All right, yeah. Okay.
Want to run something back up here?
Where are your keys? You can run them back up in your pocketbook.
My pocketbook back.
I'll get you.
Thank you. Here, don't take the millions that aren't. Deb is doing an outstanding job. Hi. Hi.
How are you? I'm Debbie.
Hi, nice to meet you.
You want me to stay, Deb?
Of course.
We will just start introductions because I'm not sure everybody knows everybody. But
Pass her down, Debbie.
I'm Mike Warner.
Hi, Mike.
I'm Kathleen O'Tina.
Kathleen.
We know each other from different venues.
Jason Hunter.
Mike Flanagan.
Hi, Mike.
Ann Zanita.
Hi, Ann.
We do have some other members, they're just not available this evening. So.
I like the space though. I'm not gonna do it. General power.
Yeah. Budget.
All right, so generally this is a fairly straightforward process. It's, you've prepared some material for us, and it's just kind of walking through what do you anticipate for next year. And then we may have some questions, you may have some points you want to bring out to us or questions for us.
Okay.
Kind of a free-for-all.
Okay. Doesn't sound as torturous as I imagined. Okay. So the first tab is the treasurer collector salary and expense lines. And for all the union folks, the increase is built into their contracts and their steps. So this, that math is what it is. And then all the department heads are putting in a 2.5% increase on their line. And then our expense line did go up a little bit. I don't know why at 750. Do you remember?
25,750. That's for 28.
Yes.
Oh, sorry, I'm in the wrong.
That's okay.
Great start. Okay. I'm already going up a year ahead. So there we go.
Good to be prepared.
Okay. So, any questions on that? And then behind it all is the calculations and the packets that the accountants did. That ties back to all those salary lines that are listed on the front. So. And then the next thing is the Whitman Hanson Regional School District tab. And for that, we went up 5% on the operating expense and the non-mandated busing. That was based on Mary Beth's recommendation of what's been done for those amounts. And then the Whitman Hanson Regional High School debt service. This, or 27, will be the final year of that payment, so that's nice to see a loan come to an end. And then, that amount there is based on the assessment and the enrollment. So on the pages after that, you'll see the final year payment is $578,560, and the Whitman percentage of students is 61 and 15% of that, which makes up that $353,789 on that line. And the middle school debt, I'll let Mary Beth speak to that. And then the crossing guards, again, per Mary Beth's recommendation, we went up 2.5% for that.
And the Whitman Middle School debt is just that new debt number that I put in from the information I got this week.
The next tab is the sewer water debt service, and those numbers, the interest, the principal, are all tied out to the UFASI numbers and the debt schedules on the following pages. You can see what makes up those principal and interest payments. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 loans that are tied into those two numbers there. And the miscellaneous is the administrative fees that went up a little bit on those loans. And then the indirect costs, I think Jen Ardenti may have already done.
Correct, that's the
Okay.
account's office, they
Yep.
calculated that.
One question on that, so looking at this, you've got a departmental request 27 and a draft budget 27. Which is the accurate one?
The draft budget, the 10,145,
Okay.
is the admin fees.
Is that the same for all of the
Yeah, the draft
department
budget numbers are the
draft
correct
budget is
numbers,
what you
yeah.
should be looking at, okay?
Yeah, sorry.
Nope.
And next is the debt service. And again, all the backup is behind those
Yep.
numbers for the principal and interest payments that make up the interest and principal. And then the Title V is on, it's not with that, it's actually in the last few pages, all of the debt schedules. That 729 is listed there. The last one is the Plymouth County, or the townwide expenses, I should say. So Plymouth County, we have the figure of the $3,831,461, and the town pays it in one lump sum. And by doing that, we save $72,600 on that one. And then behind all that information is the actual debt schedule by loan, and then all the individual schedules that back up all those numbers. So I don't know, the smaller, yeah.
Deb, if I may interrupt you, I sent you this file earlier today, and after that, I updated the unemployment, I reduced it to 30,000. And it's a new file right before it came up, I apologize for that.
I'll forgive you. 30,000 even?
I just put 30 in temporarily until we see
Okay.
on the budget.
All
And
right.
on the schedules I gave all of you, it has the 30.
All right, so I'm thinking the best way is if we roll back to item 7, which is the first sheet.
Okay.
Just anything that you want to bring out or any questions that anybody has. We'll just handle it one sheet at a time.
Fine.
It's a lot of
a lot.
data, right? So just piece this out.
Information.
I provided it all. I said, whatever.
I like it.
I caught her.
Yeah.
She did.
It shows. Everything on that page is pretty self-evident, self-explanatory, rather.
Okay. I want to give people enough time. Right, then we moved it, line item 21, Whitman Hanson Regional School District, which this is more of a guess at this point.
It's a
Right?
placeholder.
Yes. Yep. Hopefully it doesn't go up 5%.
And this round we should be looking, although these numbers seem, oh no, they're a little different. The debt service went down a tad bit. Yeah, other than that, the same. You
Yeah,
just-
that goes with enrollment.
Right. The others, you're just applying that 5%, for example, on the operating expense.
Yeah.
It's just flat out and just, like you said, a placeholder.
Yeah.
Okay.
And is this the number that gives us a 1.3 million deficit? Okay.
1.48 now.
Okay. Thank you.
Wow, 1.48 now.
We haven't had any talk with them yet, so we know that there's a lot really that we have for questions there. We'll hear more tomorrow. It is. Okay, then the next one is 23, couple below that. Water and sewer. So if you're looking at your notes, so everything we had when we met with the department was everything above, right? These are at the bottom of that list, so it's kind of the second half to that discussion. So how did you come with the budget numbers on these?
On these, I took the debt schedules that are all in the back that, were applicable to the loans, and cross-checked the principal and interest payments to what UFASI sent us, the financial advisors, and they all tied out to what they have as to what we have going, loan by loan.
So you didn't have to do any calculations, really, it's,
No,
It's
it
already
is what it
defined.
is. It's already, they're
Yeah.
already set. Yep.
okay. Okay. Then what else we got? Next one is 33.
those are no calculations, they're already, the amounts are what they are on the schedule.
Yeah. Okay.
How much longer do we have to pay off the police department and town hall and fire department upgrades?
2030, I think.
20, the police department is going to be done in 30.
Okay.
That little half sheet is probably easier to see those kind of projections.
Sorry for that noise. We have no idea what it is. I was hoping it was like a Dairy Queen or something like that. It wouldn't feed us, but margarita machine, yeah, something like that. So just in the future then, would the debt service now show the middle school? Would it we would see those numbers here in the future?
Yeah, so that's, this half paper, we would add an additional column and have that.
Would there be a new line item, I'm assuming, in
Oh,
the budget numbers as well? We've done, I'm looking, ambulance and pumpkin, we've done that before for other things.
Well, we've
This-
got it on the Whitman Middle School debt,
Yeah,
on the Whitman Hanson.
Yeah,
Under the Whitman Hanson.
31.
that's what it would be?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
so it wouldn't be under the debt service, only written Hanson, okay.
And we'll enter the numbers onto the debt schedule once we actually have the finals.
Right. Okay. And then the last one that you supplied us with was 35. Just a couple sheets down from there.
And Deb, you want to just mention that we make the one payment?
It is, yep. Let me say that's 72,000, yep.
On the retirement portion, that's it.
Yeah, by paying it in
Paying
one
it
lump
off.
sum, yep.
Okay, so... So one thing, so are we gonna go with the 30,000 on the line for unemployment compensation? Okay.
Yes. For now, until we see, so we have to close the number.
When the dice are done rolling, then
Yep.
that could change, but right now
Correct.
that's it. Okay.
What class are the inactives for the participants? Like, how does that impact the? Yeah, participants, actives make sense, retirees, for this inactive.
The 13 inactive?
Yeah.
Okay, so the retirees and disabled, that's self-explanatory.
Yeah.
Actives are the
Right,
employees.
right.
And inactives could be somebody that we still have in Plymouth County retirement, but that's not currently employed. So, for example, my sister-in-law left the town, but she didn't put in for her retirement, so she's inactive. Because she's still.
Oh, she's
in
working
the
somewhere
system.
else.
Working somewhere else. And then when
Right.
she retired, she put in
She
for
just- I
retirement
gotcha.
from Plymouth County. But for 10, 12 years,
She wasn't
just
working with
was-
the town. She
she's
was
not-
she
not
went
work-
to the
okay.
private sector.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it, okay.
Any other questions?
There's a lot of information.
Anything you have for us? I know that we had the IT folks in last time, there's some software changes coming.
We are, looking at all
Hopefully.
those.
So I just got an email from Josh yesterday, so that's like a critical item right now that we need. We're beyond end of life. And so this, the grant that Josh can come in for every 3 years, he thought that we were eligible for it for this year, but it's not till next year. So now what do? We need it desperately. We have capital stabilization. Do we just take it out of that, which would be a big chunk of what's left in there? So that's something to talk about at the capital committee meeting next week. But the need certainly hasn't gone away. And like I said, for the accountant, they've run out of spaces for adding, like they were counting numbers, so now they wrap onto another line, so it skews the reports. I mean, it's beyond end of life.
How much is that?
So we're looking at Munis, because if we're going to revamp this, and that's what the district uses, I asked the auditors, and I believe she said it's like 92% of all their clients are on Munis. And then there's a few other smaller, there's Vadar, SoftWrite that we use has a cloud version. But if we're going to make this change and we're going to invest this money, the capabilities of the Munis, and Josh agrees that, we want it fully integrated. It could help with procurement, it could help with just everything, even in the system, the things we could do down the road, onboarding, I mean, just extras that we could add. Budgeting is unbelievable, the things that it could do. So we do want to go with a good financial software. I mean, it's the basis of everything we do with these numbers. And it would follow everything right through from a purchase order right to the end. So you'll see it in the system. Everything is connected and it runs right through from the start to end. You could pull up the information. It would just be streamlining so many of our current processes.
How much is that? How much?
Well, it depends, because it's sort of like a la carte, like, do you want an accounting package, and then do you want water and sewer, do you want trash? Are we gonna stay with water and sewer in CDS right now and not pick that up? But I said, well, if we're not gonna do that, we still have to make sure there's a module that will handle the trash billing. So if we don't take the utility package, how are we gonna do our trash billing? So I went through a lot of it with Josh. We came up with these questions. He was going back to Munis for some answers. But we can sort of slice and dice the big menu and start out with something, and then down the road add some of the things that we don't have right now that would be wonderful.
His initial quote was, after discounts and things like that, was about $55,000. But as Mary Beth said, that's not everything.
They paid like 2 or 3.
Yeah, it was the accounting, so, which
From you?
may be okay too, is get it up and running.
What was
Thought
the
it was
amount you said?
55,000, it's a couple of 100,000, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm looking at what he
55
said.
might have been for one particular,
It could have been.
it may have been, yeah.
Yeah, because it's only got accounting and payables.
And was that the implementation
Couple of
to-
100,000.
No, this is the license.
Oh, there we go.
Right, so then, the other part isn't there, but,
Oh, is it that much?
We've talked-
yeah, I think it is probably gonna be a couple hundred. By the time you're done with everything, yeah.
Minus 10%, minus 10%, minus, so about 400,000 to 500,000 to spend on stuff.
And Josh is very good with working with the vendors and negotiating, the prices on things. But I do believe the last conversation that we had, it was going to be, because the grant was for 200,000, but the total price was going to be over that. I don't have the numbers in front of me, whether it was 262 or something, a commitment from us to somehow come up with a portion of it. And then you're not sure whether you're going to get the full 200,000, even if we were eligible this year. But if they're going to say, we'll give you 180, would we say no? Right? Because we have to pick up the difference,
Yeah.
So the 200, sorry,
No, go ahead.
the 262 was for accounting and payables, or was that for a bigger?
Oh, no, that was for, right
The
now,
whole
we have
suite.
assessing, we have treasure collector, we have accounting, and everything's fully integrated, so, things move through the system. We would definitely want all of that. We want everything we have right now, plus, more enhanced features for budgeting and so forth.
Yep.
Get rid of the spreadsheets and, so much more that we can do, and Munis has it.
Would they
My
do
only-
payroll?
Excuse me?
Would
yeah.
they do payroll?
Well, so here's the thing with that, that's something that we're considering, even though Munis has payroll, like the district, I believe outsources.
I think
the
so.
payroll?
I think so.
So we don't have to necessarily pick up all of the features of, the payroll module yet. I've said to Josh, we need to make sure that even though we outsource payroll now with customized data services, the file is sent through SoftWrite to the bank. So we have to make sure we have the features that we need. But I certainly don't want to pay for payroll and pay to outsource. So we need, if we're going to outsource, and of course, CDS, Customized Data Services, that's the vendor that we use now for our payroll. They're getting out of the payroll business at the end of the calendar year in '26. They're going to stay with the bills. They also print water, sewer bills, real estate bills for many towns, many communities, but the payroll, he said, no, we're done in December. So do we move our vendor for payroll July 1st, or do we wait until December and start with a clean calendar year, because W-2s run on a clean calendar year? So we have a little bit of time on that, but if we're looking at a Munis, we have to kind of think, if we bring it back in-house, I'll tell you that the payroll person is about 18 hours a week, and we'd have to increase the hours there to bring the payroll back in. So there'd be a cost to have the module, and then a cost to increase the position. So we may want to pick up Munis and still outsource. And so we've looked at a few vendors on that recently, but we've sort of put that on the back burner right now until we decide the financial, especially with the grant deadline that we thought we were under, has taken the, front seat on the efforts from IT and all of us on what we're looking for. But now that we're not eligible for that grant this year, it's like, we still need a new financial package.
Yeah.
So we'll discuss it next week at the capital meeting.
Yeah, it'd be nice to know, because it's implementation, but there's also data migration.
How much is in the capital account?
For something?
Yes.
looks
400
like 3
something.
or something like that, yeah.
Capital stabilization.
And actually,
On to that for the
we
fire
will
truck.
put in the money for fiscal '26 from free cash. The money into general stabilization and to
Yeah,
capital
that was already moved.
stabilization. Has that been moved yet?
Yes, I think so. The 240 and, I don't remember the other number.
So we can check that
Yeah.
tomorrow and see if it's in there. I do have the accountant periodically, I send her the budget, and I say to her, go over every cell, every single cell, check it, and update the revenue tab with the balances. So the last time, the budget I'm sending you probably says December 2nd. I want that updated as of January, 25th, or the latest statement we got.
Yeah, the one you sent us in December, Mary Beth, had $476,000 in capital stabilization.
And that was in December?
December.
Okay, and I just want to make sure that that has this year's free cash allocation in it. I'm not sure that it does, so we'll check that. And it's not like if we don't take the 200,000 or put in for the 200,000 this year that we're going to miss an opportunity next year, because Josh always has, projects.
What about the $200,000 from the assessors that we got back?
Right, so that's
We use that.
225,000, so we used some of that at the special town meeting.
Yep.
But what I have earmarked for that really is the STIP project. It's down now under 200,000, but the STIP project is like a $15 million project down the east end of
South,
Florida.
South.
And if we don't put our money away for 5 years and come up with our portion of it, then we're gonna lose out on this huge. And that was cut last year. I believe that was one of the articles that was reduced at town meeting. So Bruce did give us the number for this year, and he said it's 225,000. So we don't really have that. One other thing, and here I go again, giving you all this information. Do you have a minute?
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
The DPW building is just, I mean, it's finished, but the project, we haven't disbanded yet because for 1 year you have to have some final checks and so forth done. There are some bills still trickling in, some from ADS, which is the environmental
Right.
business there, you know, for removing all the soil and testing and all of that. But there are some more residual costs that will come in. However, there's some funds, and that's what I'm dedicating tomorrow to, that are left over, that are unused from the project. So my plan was to at least put forth the original article when we started the DPW was like $1,091,000, say, a little over $1 million. That's before we went out and borrowed. And that was made up of three components. It was made up of retained earnings from water and sewer. It was made up from money from capital stabilization. And it was made up from free cash. So I need to leave some money still in the DPW building account for some unknown residual bills that will trickle in over the next 6 months or so. However, I feel very confident that I think the number was like 384,000 out of, say, high fives, 600,000 that I would like to use at this annual town meeting for capital because our capital is so low. And I did speak with the district today, and Dr. Marcus said, well, does that include our request? I said, we only had one. It was a big one. It was $698,000 one quote and $689,000 to redo all the surfaces up there, the parking lots. I said, so if you could do a phased-in approach, I said that would really be better because that is more money than we have available right now for capital. So if you could, he said, well, the lower lot is the worst, so he'd go back and see if they could phase it in over a few years. That would help greatly. But I'm hoping that everybody will agree with turning some money back at town meeting to vote. I want to put that out to the DPW committee and have more exact numbers on balancing at next week's capital meeting.
Okay.
A lot going on.
Okay. Anything else? You'll let Debbie escape?
And I'm going with it.
Yeah, you're Beth out too. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Nice meeting you all as well.
Good night.
Good night. All right. Take care, Kathy.
Good. Right, Deb.
Alrighty. That's a lot of information for one night.
Yeah.
Yeah, lots of numbers.
Yeah.
And now the deficit is up to 1.4.
Almost 1.5. Yeah.
Let me figure out where some of that. And does that, so some of the budgets that we've had have been pretty, just there are some additional like, what's included in that 1.4 now versus what is not? Because I know that while most of the departments have been like really like level
Yeah, we should
funding,
have asked that.
there are there have been extra requests here and there, and it seems that some might be accounted for, but others might not be accounted for in that.
So is that 1.4, is that based on department requests?
I believe the answer is no. If you compare, I'm looking at the budget that she gave us in December, and it shows 1.4 deficit, 1 point.
So that 1.4 is already a bit cut?
Mary Beth will make recommendations to us. For instance, the IT budget, I know Josh wanted cybersecurity and
Right.
clerk.
And,
So is
and
that-
share.
admin,
So that,
yeah.
is that based in that 1.4 million?
No.
No,
Really?
it's not in
No.
there. Okay.
If you look at the Mary Beth's budget here that she gave us tonight, go to IT, and I'm not picking on IT, it's just those numbers are fresh.
No, those are the ones that, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, nope, those two positions aren't there.
Yeah.
The major, his.
Okay, yeah, this is basically the whole, yep, technology, yep.
Yep.
Yeah, I gotcha, okay. Okay,
Yeah,
thanks.
thanks, I was hoping that stuff wasn't there.
No, it would be easy to.
Yeah.
No.
He's at 5.5% approval.
Yeah, it's what, 119 is here. It's gonna continue to change.
And if the clerk never presents the budget to
What's
the
that?
administrator, what happens if the town clerk doesn't present the budget to town administrator? Do they just fall back to the?
The town administrator will put some numbers in there for the town, for the us
She'll
to
submit
recommend
it.
and town to vote on.
She gave us her budget.
She didn't come in.
She didn't come in and she didn't give it to the town administrator despite it being requested
No,
multiple
she
times.
gave it to us, but she didn't give it to the town administrator.
Well,
Weird.
no, she's got a request in there, which is what we saw.
95018.
Yeah,
Are you looking at Mary Beth's budget?
yep, the one she gave us tonight. She's got a request from the department for 95018. The draft budget is 82407, which is a 2.5% raise. I have a lot more questions on that, to tell you the truth. Yeah, you go, there's two columns. So it's like,
Yeah.
yeah. So I mean, my first question there is, you cut your hours. Is the salary, is the salary based upon hours, a certain number of hours? I would assume so. It's like, I'm a salaried person, I get paid based on 40 hours of work, whether I work 50 or 30 or whatever, right? And I never work 30, right?
No.
So, but as an hourly worker, obviously you're paid for the hours that you work.
Right.
That's it. And I think this is a salary position, but
It
the
is.
assumption is that it's for a certain number of hours. And if you unilaterally decide to change your hours to less than that expectation, then should not the salary be commensurate?
Yeah.
And converted to an hourly rate? Yeah.
I completely agree. I believe it was threatened last year that she closed 2 days. Well, she was out, closed one because of loss of a clerk. But last year's was tied to her raise. If I don't get my raise, then I'll close the office down to 2 days. That's ridiculous.
And that's what we got.
Yeah. It's a huge inconvenience when you have to
Alright, yeah.
post. When you have to post something, I mean, Mike knows now. You have to get it up there.
I do it before these meetings.
Yeah.
They're open until 7 on Tuesday, so I drive by. Here you go.
Yep.
All right, do we have any other business or any questions? Elizabeth, nice to see you. Not to pester you, but we are behind on minutes.
Did you guys go through the, which ones were they? There were 2 sets of minutes.
We started like literally right off. We started with Mary Beth, so we didn't get a chance to do
Okay.
any.
Okay.
So, but
So, as of this meeting, I believe we will have 4 to go over
Okay.
next week. Yeah, 4 or 5.
so let's set that for next week. Is read the note, the minutes. Come here with any changes. I'd like to be able to just go boom, 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 get them all done. And we'll do that in the first 15.
Yep.
So
Yep.
we'll literally start when we're supposed to next time. We have the socio-tech is first and the planning board is second. So that's, I think we have enough time to get caught up, which would be great. If all of our minutes are done, we have the meeting with the select board the following week, and then we have the Whitman-Hanson Regional School District, and then we're going to start our deliberations and recommendations. So,
I know I missed one meeting, like completely missed one, and I think it was with the fire chief. Do we have a budget from him? Like a paper budget? Or did we get an electronic?
He did.
he was a big packet. I
He
don't
did.
know that we have it.
Let's get a line for department requests.
So that's what they requested.
Yeah, but it's not that, because you look at the IT these requests of the cybersecurity and the administrator doesn't have that.
Yeah, that's what you were saying, so that's not reflective of the whole.
But he requested it.
Yes.
So it's paper copy, not electronic.
I didn't believe that I saw an electronic. I have an older one from him electronically.
I can
Let me see
email
what I
them.
can find.
Okay, I'll let you work on it.
Yeah, I gotta go through. I have not neatened up my papers at all. These are
It's overwhelming.
just coming, that's it.
He was in before
Yeah, this is,
the 5, but I don't know if he got it
13th,
electronically or
I think it
he's here.
No, I got it right here. He gave us a pamphlet, remember? He blew it up, remember he said we couldn't read it, that
there it
blew up
is.
his numbers.
Oh, that's right, yeah. He did the whole glasses.
You don't have spare copies. Here, this way.
Oh, not those are old.
Oh, here. Ancient, oh, wait.
If I have it.
Time to school committee meetings. Oh, is it 7?
He said 6:30.
No, that's 2018.
Okay.
Is that televised, school meeting?
Yes.
Okay. Try to watch it.
Yeah, it's at 6:30 tomorrow. Public hearing, and that's a legal requirement of their budget.
Yeah, let's see what they come up with. It would be nice if they did that, 5%, but I don't know.
I don't even see him get
Well-
5%.
I'm at a loss in terms of what did you actually do for fiscal 25? What are you using for fiscal 26? And then now tomorrow night I'll
Fiscal
find out.
25.
Fiscal 25 was a mess.
That's
And
what I
that
mean,
was-
you can't use that as a base for,
They allegedly
26.
cleared that up, but it's just insane.
Yeah, sorry for the new,
I don't think he sent it.
person who's taking it over, because he's trying to, I'm sure he's trying to figure out a lot of it too.
Thankfully, he's a money guy.
Kind of have to be in that position.
You
these
do.
days.
I have 3 engine backup paperwork.
Yeah, those are, yeah,
Budget from them.
not his whole budget. I don't see it there. All
Did he
right,
send one electronically?
I don't think he did. He mentioned something about blowing it up so everyone could read it, and then he brought it in with his admin, the person, assistant.
Hold on. If he blew it up, hold on, maybe this is it. Because this was on my desk when I came in. Is this it?
no.
No.
It's actually got a nice cover to it, so.
Is there a copy? Like a photocopy machine?
And I'm just looking at. Yeah, there is, it's an older one, that's the thing. And that's what we had this year, we had a lot of them submitted like in November, but they made changes. So when they came to the meetings, it was a very different budget than what was earlier
Yeah.
submitted. Okay,
Right.
so that's it then. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
All right, second by Ann, all in favor? And anybody opposed? I hear crickets, okay.
There's
Thank you,
nobody
everybody.
on the phone anywhere, right?